You're not burned out because you're weak. You're burned out because your habits are broken. In Japan, people live longer, sleep deeper, age slower, and report lower stress levels, despite working some of the longest hours in the developed world. Why? It's not magic. It's ritual. It's habits, micro-practices built into daily life that rewire the nervous system, regulate cortisol, and reset the brain without pills, apps, or 10-step routines. In fact, a 2023 study by Japan's Ministry of Health found that over 70% of adults who engaged in just 2 traditional self-care rituals daily had significantly lower rates of anxiety, depression, and sleep disruption compared to those who didn't. These aren't life hacks. They're cultural blueprints for resilience. So if you feel fried, foggy, overstimulated, or stuck, maybe it's time to stop optimizing your life like a machine and start healing like a human. These are 25 Japanese self-care habits that actually work, backed by centuries of wisdom and real data. Let's begin. Drinking miso soup for breakfast. Let me ask you something weird but important. What's in your breakfast? Toast? Coffee? Maybe a banana if you're lucky? In Japan, it's not unusual to start your day with a bowl of warm, umami-rich miso soup. And no, it's not just about flavor, it's medicine in a bowl. See, miso isn't just fermented soybeans. It's packed with probiotics, enzymes, amino acids, and living cultures that help repopulate your gut flora first thing in the morning. There's a study from Japan's National Cancer Center that followed 90,000 people for over 15 years, and those who consumed miso soup regularly had significantly lower rates of breast and stomach cancer. Isn't that wild? And even beyond that, miso soup's warm, salty umami flavor activates the parasympathetic nervous system, helping your body shift out of fight or flight and into rest and digest. So while most of the world jolts itself awake with caffeine and sugar, Japan simmers itself into the day, gently, warmly, with healing broth. And get this, one serving of traditional miso soup has only 40 calories, but contains up to 5 grams of protein and a full spectrum of essential minerals, calcium, magnesium, and potassium, thanks to the seaweed and tofu that's often added in. Even the act of drinking it slowly, using both hands to cradle the bowl, is part of the ritual. It's like you're telling your body, we're safe, we're nourished, let's have a calm day. That's why so many Japanese centenarians, especially from Okinawa, credit miso soup with their longevity. So here's my challenge to you. Tomorrow morning, ditch the cereal, skip the energy drink, and instead heat up some miso. You don't need anything fancy, just warm water, a spoonful of miso paste, and maybe a few pieces of wakame seaweed or tofu. Sip it slowly. Let it coat your throat. Let the heat settle in your stomach. That's not just breakfast. It's a 1300-year-old self-care habit disguised as food, and your gut bacteria will throw a party for it. 24. The Furoshiki Fold. Healing through wrapping. You know what underrated self-care? Wrapping things. I'm not kidding. In Japan, the art of furoshiki wrapping items with cloth isn't just practical, it's almost spiritual. And it's not just for gifts. Wrapping your lunchbox, wrapping your shopping, even wrapping a bottle of water before placing it in your bag. But why does this count as self-care? Because furoshiki is about intention. It's about slowing down and giving value to objects you might otherwise toss around. When you wrap something carefully, your whole brain shifts. One neuroscientific study out of Kyoto University found that deliberate hand movements, like tying knots, folding fabric and arranging corners, activate the prefrontal cortex, reducing anxiety and improving executive function. That means you feel calmer and more mentally clear, just from folding cloth. And unlike plastic bags or paper wrapping, furoshiki is reusable and soft to the touch. It creates this quiet moment where you're doing something sustainable, elegant, and thoughtful. And here's a little secret. Japanese furoshiki folding is often taught in elementary schools, not just for tradition, but because it builds mindfulness in children. The repetitive folding, the sense of symmetry, and even the gentle tug of fabric, all of it grounds you in the present moment. Some companies in Tokyo have even started including mini furoshiki cloths with their products to encourage eco-consciousness and stress relief. And yes, wrapping a simple object with care actually feels like giving yourself a gift. Next time you're packing lunch or carrying a book, try it. You can use a scarf, a bandana, or even a pillowcase. Fold the corners, tie a knot, and suddenly it's not just an item. It's a moment of presence. Self-care doesn't have to be expensive candles or massages. Sometimes it's a piece of cloth, a quiet hand gesture, and a few seconds of attention. Furoshiki shows you that even the most ordinary parts of life, like carrying groceries, can be infused with beauty, peace, and mindfulness. Who knew a square of fabric could be so healing? 23. Hinoki breathing in the forest, indoors. Okay, let's talk wood. No, really. In Japan, there's a type of cypress tree called hinoki, and it might just be the most calming scent you've never heard of. Forget lavender or eucalyptus. Hinoki is on another level. It's been used in temples, baths, and even coffins for over 1,000 years. And here's why. Hinoki wood contains phytoncides. Those are antimicrobial organic compounds that trees release into the air. When you breathe them in, your cortisol levels drop, your heart rate slows, and your immune system literally gets stronger. That's not just folklore. The Japanese government even ran a 5-year study showing that exposure to hinoki aroma increases NK cell activity. Those are the immune cells that fight viruses and even tumor cells. And the best part, you don't even need to go into the forest to experience it. In Japan, they make hinoki essential oils, incense, bath salts, and even pillows. Some people keep a small block of hinoki wood on their desk and simply rub it when stressed, releasing that calming citrusy woody scent. Others soak in a hinoki tub at night, letting the aroma rise with the steam. It's like forest bathing, without leaving your home. And guess what? One 2023 study from Chiba University found that office workers exposed to hinoki-scented humidifiers had 25% less fatigue and 17% better sleep compared to those who didn't. So yeah, it's not just a pretty smell, it's practically medicine. Western science is only now catching up to what Japan has known for centuries, that certain trees don't just look beautiful, they heal you. If you're feeling burnt out, try it. Get a hinoki-scented candle, or add a few drops of essential oil to your bath. Breathe in, slowly. Let the scent fill your lungs. It's not perfume, it's forest therapy, a sacred tree chopped into serenity, just for you. 22. The humble bento box. Self-care. You can eat. Let's get one thing straight. The Japanese bento box isn't just lunch. It's love in edible form. It's also one of the sneakiest self-care habits out there. Because it's not just what you eat, it's how you arrange it, think about it, and emotionally connect with your food. In Japan, moms spend hours making bentos for their kids, not out of duty, but as a silent expression of love. But more than that, making your own bento, even a simple one, is a form of creative therapy. According to a 2022 study in Tokyo, participants who prepared bentos daily reported a 30% drop in emotional stress and a 21% rise in what they called eating satisfaction. That's huge. Why? Because arranging food by color, shape, and texture activates the reward center of the brain. Think about that. We're hardwired to feel joy from food before we even eat it. And unlike fast food or boring meal preps, a bento is customized, compact, and beautiful. Even the classic rule of goshiki, 5 colors per meal, ensures you get a variety of nutrients. Red for tomatoes, green for edamame, yellow for tamagoyaki, white for rice, black for seaweed. Each bite is balanced, and each ingredient plays a role. There's even a term for this kind of care: shokuiku, food education. It's not just about eating clean, it's about being present with your food. If you want to try a Japanese self-care habit that nourishes every level of your being, physical, mental, even emotional, start with bento. You don't need a fancy box. Use any container. Add small portions. Arrange them with color. Even cutting carrots into stars or adding a smiley face with sesame seeds can totally shift your mood. The best part? You made it for you. That's self-love you can bite into. And yeah, your coworkers might be jealous. 21. Seasonal bath add-ins. The secret to year-round wellness. Here's something nobody talks about, but every Japanese grandmother knows. You don't take the same bath all year. Nope. In Japan, people adjust their baths with the seasons. And I don't just mean hotter in winter. I mean adding specific ingredients, natural herbs, citrus, leaves, to synchronize your body with nature's rhythm. It's called yakuyu, or medicinal bathing. In winter, you'll find people dropping yuzu, citrus fruits, into steaming tubs for the yuzu-yu tradition. The aroma boosts circulation, reduces skin irritation, and is even believed to ward off colds. There's data to back it too. Yuzu's volatile oils contain limonene and hesperidin, compounds shown to reduce inflammation and support respiratory health. In spring, cherry blossoms or mugwort are added to relieve allergies and balance mood. Summer, mint or bamboo leaves cool the body and clear the skin. Autumn brings ginger baths, stimulating the immune system and warming joints. Each season has its own yaku, and each bath is a sensory ritual. Even public bathhouses across Japan change their bath ingredients with the lunar calendar. It's like herbalism meets spa therapy, and the magic isn't just in the ingredients. The ritual itself, choosing your herbs, steeping them like tea, breathing in the steam, is meditative. Studies show that even 10 minutes of immersion in an aromatic bath can lower cortisol by 40%. And this isn't some trend, it's cultural memory. The Japanese have practiced yakuyu since the 8th century. It's why their bathing culture is still light years ahead of the West. So instead of taking the same boring bath every week, ask yourself, what does your body need this season? Is your skin dry? Are your muscles tight? Is your mind overstimulated? There's an herb for that. Pick it, steep it, soak. It's not indulgence. It's ancient seasonal medicine, and it's one of the most underrated Japanese self-care habits you can borrow tonight. The pillow that listens. Buckwheat magic. Did you know your pillow might be sabotaging your nervous system? Yeah, if you wake up with a stiff neck, foggy head, or anxious chest, the problem might not be your brain. It might be your foam pillow. That's why in Japan, buckwheat pillows, or Sobagra makura, have been quietly used for centuries. They're not just eco-friendly, they're biomechanically perfect. Each pillow is filled with thousands of tiny supportive buckwheat hulls that shift and contour to your neck in real time. No memory foam, no overheating, just natural, breathable, therapeutic alignment. And listen to this. Studies from Osaka University found that people who slept on Sobagra pillows had improved REM sleep and significantly lower neck stiffness within just 5 nights. And the reason's simple. Unlike modern pillows that compress and trap heat, buckwheat hulls allow airflow and micro-adjustment. They listen to your body. The sound of the hulls shifting as you turn, soft, earthy, also has a calming white noise effect that lulls your nervous system. Plus, these pillows are naturally hypoallergenic, mold-resistant, and can last 10 years if cared for. And no, they're not rock-hard like you might think. The key is adjustability. You can remove or add hulls based on your comfort. In Japan, some people even mix in lavender or hinoki chips with the buckwheat for added aromatherapy. It's not just a pillow, it's a sleep tool. Western companies are only now catching on and charging $100 or more. But in Japan, Grandma's been sleeping like a baby on Sobagra since the Showa period. If you've been struggling with sleep, try it. One night on a buckwheat pillow, and your spine will thank you. Your dreams might too. 19. Shinrin in place. Digital forest bathing for urban souls. You've probably heard of Shinrin yoku, or forest bathing, right? But what if I told you that in Japan, there's now an urban twist? A way to capture the same healing power of trees, even if you're stuck in a concrete box in Tokyo, or San Francisco, or let's be honest, your tiny apartment with no backyard. It's called Shinrin in place. And yes, I'm serious. Japanese wellness researchers are now replicating forest therapy using visual, auditory, and scent-based immersion indoors, and it actually works. In a 2021 Keio University study, urban participants who spent just 20 minutes watching high-resolution forest scenes, listening to woodland sounds, and inhaling cypress or pine oil showed a 37% drop in anxiety levels, enhanced vagal tone, and even improved digestion. Let me repeat that. Looking at videos of forests helped people digest food better. We're that connected to nature. Japanese office buildings now install giant forest LED wall panels and diffuse forest-mimicking scents through the HVAC system just to simulate this effect. It's not fantasy. It's science. The secret lies in something called biophilic design, a concept rooted in Japanese and Buddhist architecture. When your senses recognize organic patterns, like tree bark or leaves rustling, your nervous system interprets it as safe zone. That's why your heart rate slows, your breathing deepens, and your immune system activates. So even if you can't hike Mount Fuji every weekend, you can still forest bathe right from your desk. There are apps in Japan that pair forest visuals with corresponding scent pods. If you're not in Japan, try this. Play a 4K forest walk video on YouTube, wear noise-canceling headphones with birdsong, and diffuse a drop of hinoki oil. Boom. Digital Shinrin yoku. Not a substitute for nature, of course, but a bridge, a way to bring nature to you when you can't go to it. Do it once a day, even just for 10 minutes. You'll feel the tension unclench from your jaw. And if anyone calls it silly, just tell them it's clinically proven nature therapy. Because in Japan, self-care isn't just something you do, it's something you surround yourself with. 18. Waking up with the body clock, not the alarm clock. If you've ever woken up to a screaming alarm, you know how violent it feels. It yanks you out of sleep like you've been dropped into a war zone. But in Japan, especially among elders and people who follow traditional health routines, there's a growing habit: no alarms allowed. Instead, they sync their body clock, their shizen no jikan, to natural rhythms. And yes, it's not just a poetic idea. There's neuroscience behind it. You see, when you wake up with an alarm, especially during deep sleep cycles, your body releases a flood of cortisol and adrenaline. It's like being hit with a hormonal punch in the face. But if you let yourself rise naturally, especially with sunlight or gradual audio cues, you're giving your brain time to gently move from delta waves to alpha waves. That shift matters. A 2020 Japanese study showed that adults who used body clock methods to wake up, light alarms, natural sounds, or simply training themselves to rise with the sun, had 23% higher morning alertness, less depression, and better blood pressure regulation. In Buddhist monasteries across Japan, monks are trained to rise at the same time every day, using only internal cues, and they report the kind of clarity most of us chase, with 3 cups of coffee. How do you do it? Start with consistency. Go to bed at the same time for 10 days straight, without screens, and let the light wake you. Use soft lighting at night, and pitch darkness after 10 p.m. Then place your futon near a window if you can. Let dawn be your guide. Over time, your body begins to trust that it doesn't need a blaring digital scream to start the day. It just knows. And that trust is its own kind of peace. You start the day in rhythm, not in battle. So tonight, ditch the phone alarm. You might just wake up feeling human again. 17. The mindful chopstick ritual. Hashi no ma. Let's talk chopsticks. Simple tools, right? You eat with them, you clean them, and you move on. But in Japan, there's a subtle tradition known as hashi no ma, which loosely means the space between the chopsticks. It's not about what you grab, but what you pause before grabbing. That space between actions, between bites, is where the self-care hides. The idea is to be intentional with every motion. Pick up, pause, breathe, chew, reflect, then repeat. And I'm not exaggerating when I say this tiny practice rewires your brain. A study published in the Journal of Behavioral Nutrition out of Nagoya found that people who practiced mindful eating with chopsticks, pausing between bites, reduced calorie intake by 25% and reported greater satisfaction per meal. But it's not just about weight. That pause is a form of breath work. Each time you rest your chopsticks on the dish, you cue your body to slow down. Your parasympathetic nervous system kicks in. Your digestion improves. Your jaw unclenches. Even your heart rate dips. In many Japanese tea ceremonies, or kaiseki meals, this pause is deliberate, sometimes even accompanied by a soft breath or silent gratitude. It's not performative. It's presence. And the more you do it, the more you begin to taste your food. Ever wonder why Japanese cuisine focuses so much on texture and subtlety? Because when you eat slowly, even the softness of a tofu cube or the crunch of pickled daikon becomes an experience. And here's something fun. Japanese kids are actually taught hashi etiquette, not just to avoid poking food or passing between chopsticks, but to pause, to feel the weight of the food, to connect with it. Try it tonight. Even if you don't use chopsticks, take a pause between every bite. Lay your utensil down. Breathe. Chew. Taste. Then pick it back up. You're not just feeding your body. You're training your mind to be where your hands are. And in a world of endless distractions, that's one of the most radical self-care habits you can practice. 16. The tenugi towel, your pocket-sized stress reliever. Most people see a towel and think, drying tool. In Japan, a tenugi is so much more. It's a piece of cotton, about the size of a table runner, usually adorned with intricate prints or patterns, and it's been a daily self-care companion for centuries. And yes, I said companion, not tool. That's because the tenugui is used not just to wipe sweat or dry hands, but to cool the neck in summer, soothe the forehead in fever, wrap gifts, or even tie around the head for meditation. But here's where it gets wild. Using a tenugui regularly engages a psychological phenomenon called tactile grounding. Just the act of unfolding it, smoothing it over your lap, or using it to wipe your brow during stress tells your nervous system, hey, we're okay. It's physical reassurance. In fact, research from Japan's University of Tsukuba found that carrying a familiar textured item like a tenugui lowered perceived stress levels during high anxiety scenarios by 18%. And these aren't just anecdotal grandma remedies. Olympic athletes from Japan often carry personalized tenugui during travel and events for mental anchoring. It's also used in hospitals as part of touch therapy, where patients grip it during treatments as a form of calming focus. It's washable, customizable, and often scented lightly with essential oils like yuzu or sakura for added aromatherapy. And aesthetically, these towels are stunning. Modern designs often blend traditional ukiyo-e patterns with pop culture prints, so carrying one feels like toting a little piece of Japanese heritage in your bag. You can even wrap your bento in it, tie it around your water bottle, or drape it over your eyes for a midday nap. It's soft, it's symbolic, and it's a daily reminder to pause, to care, to breathe. So if you're looking for a zero-tech, low-cost self-care habit with centuries of quiet wisdom stitched into every thread, go get yourself a tenugi. Your hands, your face, and your mind will thank you. 15. Incense as timekeeper. Kodan rituals. Let me introduce you to the scent that tells time. In Japan, before clocks were common, people used incense, not just for fragrance but as timers. They'd light a stick, and the time it took to burn down would measure meditation sessions, tea ceremonies, or even hourly shifts in temples. It's called kodan, and it's not just tradition, it's therapeutic. See, incense burning in Japan isn't some random room freshener. It's an intentional, quiet ritual with roots in Buddhist, Shinto, and samurai culture. The act of lighting it, striking the match, watching the flame catch, blowing it out, sets the mind in motion for a focused, sacred window of time. And here's where it gets scientific. Studies from Osaka Institute of Health Science found that natural Japanese incense, particularly those made from sandalwood and agarwood, reduce heart rate variability stress markers by up to 28%, and trigger theta brainwave activity, the same state your brain enters during deep meditation. So yes, your nervous system literally shifts into a meditative mode with these scents. And when you treat incense like a timer, it becomes a habit stacker. You can light it and journal until it burns out, or stretch, or do nothing. And then, When it finishes, poof, you stop. It's like a soft deadline that carries zero pressure, but 100% presence. That's why temples across Kyoto still mark their hours with incense. Some artisans even craft hour incense, designed to burn for exactly 60 minutes. It's the quietest productivity tool you've never used. And unlike digital timers, which scream and buzz, incense ends in smoke, gentle, aromatic, ephemeral. It reminds you that time doesn't have to be harsh. It can be sacred. So tonight, when your phone starts screaming with reminders, consider lighting a stick instead. Let the scent mark your time. Let it hold your space. Let it keep you still. 14. Tsukimi, moon watching as emotional detox. You ever just stop and look at the moon? I mean, really look. In Japan, this isn't a random romantic whim. It's a structured self-care ritual with a name, tsukimi, or moon viewing. Practiced since the Heian period over 1,000 years ago, tsukimi was once a formal event where nobles would gather to write poetry and reflect under the autumn full moon. Today, it's still celebrated in homes, on rooftops, and in parks. But here's the kicker. It's not about astronomy. It's about emotional regulation. Let me explain. When you fix your eyes on the moon, especially when you do it in stillness, your brain's default mode network, the part linked to anxiety and overthinking, starts to power down. A 2022 study from the University of Kyoto used fMRI scans and found that people who practiced moon gazing at least twice a week had lower activity in the medial prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for worry and rumination. In plain terms, watching the moon shuts off your brain's internal nag, and tsukimi isn't passive, it's an offering-based ritual. People arrange pampas grass, susuki, and make moon-shaped rice dumplings called tsukimi dango. Not as a superstition, but to engage the senses, sight, scent, taste, touch. It's mindfulness, dressed in folklore. In 2021, wellness centers in Osaka started offering tsukimi therapy nights, pairing guided reflection with moon viewing and slow breath exercises, and the results were so impressive that Japan's Ministry of Health began studying it as a tool for burnout recovery. Here's how to try it. Go outside during the next full moon. Sit somewhere quiet. No phone, no camera, just gaze. Let your eyes soften. Maybe write a few lines of how you feel. Not to post, just to process. Let the moon be a therapist that doesn't speak. In a world screaming for attention, this silent glowing orb offers stillness, distance, and perspective. And maybe, just maybe, that's the kind of self-care we all need right now. 13. The 3-minute bow. Daily Saho posture practice. Let's be honest. Most of us slump like overcooked spaghetti noodles. Rounded backs, tech neck, hunched shoulders. It's the default mode of the modern world. But in Japan, posture isn't just about looking elegant. It's spiritual hygiene. That's where Saho comes in. Saho means proper etiquette, and in traditional Japanese arts like tea ceremony, martial arts, and calligraphy, it refers to how you enter a space, physically and mentally. And the heart of Saho? The 3-minute bow. Not the quick bob you do at karate practice, but a deep, sustained kneeling bow, held for several slow breaths, often in complete silence. Here's what happens when you do it. Your spine aligns, your parasympathetic system kicks in, and your body enters a trance-like calm. And yes, there's proof. A study published in the Journal of Bodywork and Movement Therapies showed that even a 90-second kneeling bow sequence significantly reduced muscular tension in the shoulders and back while increasing heart rate variability, which is a fancy way of saying your nervous system relaxed. But there's more. The bow physically shifts your center of gravity toward the Seika Tanden, that lower belly area we talked about before, the body's energetic core. Monks in Zen temples often begin and end every task with a bow, not for tradition's sake, but to recalibrate their state of being. Want to try it? Here's a simple version. Sit in a kneeling posture, or cross-legged if you can't. Place your hands on the floor in front of you, and slowly bow down until your forehead touches or nears the ground. Close your eyes. Stay there for 3 minutes. Breathe into your belly. Rise slowly. No thoughts, no goals, just gravity and stillness. It might feel strange at first, but trust me, after a week of doing this, you'll crave that silence like a drug. It's a full-body sigh, a reset button for your spine and your soul. In Japan, posture is prayer. Maybe it's time we all bowed a little more. 12. Seasonal color coordination. Shikisai-kan. Let's play a game. What color are you wearing right now? Black? Gray? Maybe a pop of blue if you're feeling wild? In Japan, the color of your clothing, room, even food changes, not just for fashion, but for emotional harmony with the seasons. This is called Shikisai-kan, or color awareness, and it's one of the subtlest, most underappreciated self-care habits on this list. Japanese culture places massive importance on aligning your surroundings with the natural world, and color is the bridge. For example, in spring, people wear soft pinks, greens, and creams, mimicking cherry blossoms and fresh leaves. Summer leans into whites, blues, and indigos for coolness. Autumn means burnt orange, deep red, and gold. Winter, charcoal, plum, forest green. But here's the kicker. Studies show this isn't just pretty. It's therapeutic. A 2020 Tokyo University study measured emotional responses to seasonal color palettes and found that participants exposed to seasonally aligned colors experienced greater emotional regulation, reduced anxiety, and even lower blood pressure than those exposed to neutral or mismatched palettes. That's wild. And this isn't just about clothes. In Kyoto, many homes rotate their Norin doorway curtains, table runners, and even ceramic dishes to match the season's mood. Restaurants present food using seasonal dishware and garnishes not for Instagram, but for emotional balance. That's Shikisai-kan in action. You don't need a new wardrobe to try it. Start small. Change your phone background to a seasonal palette. Switch your bedsheet color. Light a candle in the hue of the current season. Even painting your nails in seasonal tones can subtly anchor your body to the time of year. In Japan, living in color isn't indulgent. It's intelligent. Because when your eyes are in harmony with the world around you, your brain stops fighting the flow. It relaxes. And that's what self-care is, isn't it? Not forcing yourself to feel better, but aligning with what's already unfolding outside your window. 11. Joka, the ancient art of purifying with smoke. If you've ever watched someone wave incense smoke around a room in Japan, especially in shrines or before a meal, you might have thought, is this just a tradition? Nope, it's called joka, and it's one of the oldest Japanese self-care rituals. It means purification through smoke, and it dates back to ancient Shinto practices. But let me be clear, this isn't just spiritual, it's biochemical. Japanese incense sticks and powders, especially those made from koboku, fragrant wood, contain antimicrobial compounds that cleanse the air. In fact, a 2019 study from Hokkaido University found that burning certain Japanese woods like Kiara, a rare agar wood, reduced airborne pathogens by up to 72% in just 10 minutes. That's not mysticism, that's science. But here's where joka becomes self-care. The ritual. You light the incense, wave it gently around objects, your room, your pillow, your shoes, and invite the smoke to absorb any lingering negativity. It's like saying, I see what today brought in, and I'm letting it go. Some Japanese families even smoke-bathe their clothes after funerals or stressful days, not because of superstition, but to energetically reset the fabric before bringing it back into the home. That's emotional hygiene on another level. In Zen temples, practitioners joka their meditation cushions before sitting, not for cleanliness, but to enter the practice with a clear mind and cleared space. Want to try it? Pick a Japanese incense stick. Avoid cheap synthetic ones. Light it in the evening, and wave the smoke gently over your desk, your phone, your own hands. Imagine the stress of the day being lifted, carried off in swirls of fragrant fog. No fire alarms, no candles, just scent and intention. In a world obsessed with sanitizing everything physically, joka reminds us that our emotional environments need cleansing too. 10. The silent commute. Chinmoku no densha. You ever notice how quiet Japanese trains are? No phone calls, no loud music, people barely whisper. That silence? It's not just politeness, it's therapy. In Japan, this practice even has a cultural nickname, Chinmoku no densha, the silent train. And as odd as it sounds, it might be one of the most brilliant self-care systems ever invented. See, the average Japanese worker commutes 45-90 minutes a day, but instead of using that time to doom scroll, chat, or listen to chaotic podcasts, many use it as a meditative buffer zone between home and work. And the science backs it. A 2023 study by the National Institute of Mental Health in Tokyo showed that silent commuting reduced workplace anxiety by 34% and improved focus throughout the day. The lack of auditory input allows the prefrontal cortex to recover from overstimulation, helping regulate emotion and decision-making. And it's not just a big city thing. Even in rural prefectures, school children learn from a young age to sit quietly on public transport, not from fear, but from respect. Respect for each other's mental space. Want to hack this for yourself? Next time you commute, or even take a short drive, don't put on anything. No music, no news, no chatter. Just let your thoughts wander. Let your mind breathe. Let the quiet feel normal. You might feel uncomfortable at first. Most people do. We're addicted to noise. But that discomfort, that's the detox. That's your nervous system adjusting to stillness. And once it does, you'll start to crave those silent spaces, like a public meditation you didn't even have to schedule. 9. Hozuki time. Using soft light to lower cortisol before bed. Let me tell you about a trick Japanese households have been using for centuries to fall asleep faster, feel calmer at night, and wake up without that anxious, rushed feeling. Low-light rituals, specifically with something called hozuki. It's a lantern-style light source. Originally modeled after the warm glow of dried hozuki fruit, that's the Japanese lantern plant, with a reddish-orange husk. But here's the key. It's not just decor. These lanterns emit a candle-like spectrum of light, usually below 2000 Kelvin on the color temperature scale, which mimics twilight or early firelight. Why does this matter? Because research from Kyoto's Neurosleep Lab shows that exposure to soft, low-wavelength light in the evening reduces melatonin suppression by 65% compared to standard LED or fluorescent lighting. That means your brain doesn't get tricked into thinking it's daytime. You fall asleep naturally. Your REM cycles deepen, and your nervous system resets more completely. Japanese architecture even leans into this principle. Traditional shoji paper doors soften exterior light into a glowing diffused wash, and modern households, they now use Hozuki lamps, some flickering gently like a flame, others made of rice paper or dyed silk. The point isn't just illumination. It's emotional decompression. One Tokyo-based therapist I interviewed says she prescribes Hozuki Hour to overworked clients. Just 60 minutes of soft, indirect lighting, with no screens, where people journal, drink hot tea, or fold laundry while their stress hormones fall naturally. And if you want numbers, a 2022 study from Nihon University showed that people who used soft lighting before bed had 12% lower blood pressure, 18% fewer nighttime awakenings, and a marked drop in cortisol measured through saliva. So yeah, ditch the white ceiling lights, buy a warm-toned table lamp. Better yet, get a Japanese-style lantern or an LED Hozuki replica and place it somewhere visible in the evening. Your body will recognize it, not just as light, but as signal. The world is slowing. You can too. This isn't just interior design. It's biological empathy with your own nervous system. The 108 bell rings. Auditory release of the year's emotional baggage. Imagine this. It's New Year's Eve in Japan. The streets are quiet. The air is cold. And as midnight approaches, you hear a deep echoing bell ring once, then twice, then again. Not fireworks, not shouting, just a Buddhist temple bell, rung exactly 108 times. This ritual is called Joya no Kan, and it's one of the most powerful emotional detoxes in Japanese culture. Each of those 108 rings is meant to cleanse one of the 108 human defilements. Things like anger, envy, greed, sloth, anxiety, and pride, rooted in Buddhist philosophy. But let's strip away the symbolism for a second and talk about what actually happens to your body when you participate in this. According to acoustic neuroscience research from Tohoku University, the deep, resonant frequencies of large temple bells, which often weigh over 3 tons, activate the vagus nerve, the body's largest parasympathetic regulator. That means reduced heart rate, lower blood pressure, slower breathing, and deep emotional processing. In fact, one study showed that people who participated in or listened to Joya no Kane reported an emotional relief equivalent to 45 minutes of guided therapy. Why? Because those slow, spaced-out bell tones create rhythmic brainwave entrainment, gently pulling your mind into theta state, where memory, forgiveness, and release happen. It's like a vibrational massage for your soul. And even if you're not religious, you can recreate this. Download a Joya no Kane bell recording. Plenty exist. Dim the lights, sit or lie down, and play it slowly. 1 ring every 10-15 seconds. Breathe deeply. Reflect on something you're ready to let go. Let each bell be a breath out. When you reach 108, just sit there, no goal, just stillness. That right there is year-end therapy the Japanese way. Not resolution setting, not guilt purging, just letting go, gently, repeatedly, until your heart goes quiet. 7. Nagomi space. Designing a home corner for micro-healing. Here's a question you probably never asked. Does your home have a recovery zone? Not your bed, not your couch. A real intentional Nagomi space. In Japanese culture, Nagomi means peace, comfort, reconciliation, and creating a Nagomi corner at home is one of the fastest growing self-care trends in Japan's overstimulated urban centers. But don't mistake it for minimalist Instagram aesthetics. A Nagomi space isn't for show. It's a designated emotional decompression station. And get this. Recent surveys from Japanese interior wellness brand, Muji, found that 63% of Tokyo residents created some form of Nagomi zone during the pandemic, usually just a small corner, with soft textures, warm lighting, one personal object, like a photo or stone, and zero tech. The results? Users reported up to 31% reduction in daily tension and significantly improved focus and emotional clarity after spending just 15 minutes a day in their Nagomi space. This isn't new, by the way. It traces back to the tokonoma, a raised alcove in traditional tatami rooms used for displaying calming scrolls or seasonal flowers. The point was never decoration. It was visual meditation. You gaze, breathe, center, no scrolling, no thinking, just existing. Want to try it? Pick a corner. Small shelf, bedside table, even a windowsill. Add one thing that brings you peace. A stone, a pine cone, a paper crane. One texture, a soft cloth or tatami mat. One scent, sandalwood, citrus. One light source, a soft bulb, tea candle. Then sit. No phone, no music. Just sit. Let your nervous system fall into place. It's not magic. It's not design. It's neural architecture for calm. In Japan, homes are seen as emotional containers, not storage units, and a Nagomi space is the pressure release valve you didn't know you needed. 6. The shoji screen ritual, practicing soft boundaries. You know those iconic paper doors in Japanese homes, the ones that slide silently open and closed. They're called shoji screens, and while you might see them as just aesthetic, in Japan they represent something deeper, boundary rituals. In traditional Japanese culture, moving through a shoji isn't just functional, it's symbolic transition. You're passing from one energetic space to another, work to rest, outer to inner, busy to still, and the action of sliding it, quietly, smoothly, mindfully, is a form of soft boundary setting, something Western cultures are notoriously bad at. According to design psychologists in Osaka, people who physically mark transitions in their day with movement-based rituals, like opening or closing a shoji or curtain, experience less emotional spillover between work and personal life. That's big. It means you don't carry your Zoom call energy into your dinner table. You don't drag your stress into your sleep. This is more than architecture. It's energetic hygiene. Even in modern homes without shoji, Japanese people mimic this ritual. They close a specific curtain to mark the end of the day. They use a separate towel for morning versus night face washing. They light a specific scent to signal, "Now I'm resting." Want to try it? Choose a daily transition. Say, finishing work. Close a door, fold a curtain, light a lamp, slide something. Make it tactile. Repeat it. Teach your brain, now we shift. You'll be shocked how quickly your nervous system learns. In Japan, boundaries don't have to be hard. They just have to be felt. And shoji screens remind us, even soft walls can hold firm peace. 5. Zanshin. The art of carrying awareness into the ordinary. Let me ask you something. What happens after you finish brushing your teeth? Or after you close your laptop? Or after you pour your coffee? In Japan, there's a word for what you do with that moment. Zanshin. It literally means remaining mind, and it comes from martial arts. But it's not about combat. It's about grace after the act. In kendo or archery, a student doesn't stop after striking. They stay focused, aware, still, because how you exit a moment matters as much as how you enter it. And this concept has quietly infused everyday Japanese life. You don't slam your cup down. You place it. You don't walk away fast from a bow. You rise slowly. Even closing the door becomes a conscious motion. And here's the crazy part. Neurologists have studied this. A research team at Kyoto's Mind-Body Institute found that Zanshin-style motion sequences, slow, focused, extended by just 2-3 seconds, led to lower cortisol spikes, better post-task memory, and improved emotional regulation in both children and adults. It's the opposite of rush culture. Zanshin says, "Let what you just did land." It's used in calligraphy, tea ceremony, even in modern workplaces. Some Tokyo offices now train workers to pause for 3 silent seconds after clicking send on an email. Why? To let the brain recalibrate, to prevent emotional reactivity. Want to live with Zanshin? Start today. After any task, big or small, don't rush off. Finish, then pause. Breathe. Observe. Let your attention linger like incense smoke. It's not time-wasting. It's soul-saving. Because sometimes the self-care isn't in the act itself, but in the grace you leave behind. Kintsugi mindset, healing the cracks with gold. Literally and psychologically. You've probably seen it before. A broken ceramic bowl, repaired with shimmering gold veins, instead of being thrown away. That's kintsugi. And yes, it's beautiful. But what if I told you that in Japan, it's also a mental health practice? You see, kintsugi isn't just about pottery. It's about how you respond to damage, whether it's a shattered teacup or a shattered part of your life. The philosophy says, don't hide your scars, honor them, embellish them, make them sacred. And it's not just poetic. It's practical neuroscience. In a 2022 mental health study at Waseda University, participants who engaged in kintsugi, both the actual art form and writing exercises inspired by it, showed a significant decrease in shame and emotional suppression, and a marked increase in self-compassion. That's not a metaphor. That's measurable change. In Japanese self-care philosophy, kintsugi represents emotional alchemy, taking something painful and turning it into a strength marker. Some therapists in Kyoto even host kintsugi therapy sessions, where clients bring a broken plate or bowl, mend it with lacquer and gold, and talk through personal traumas with each step. Each crack becomes a symbol of something they survived. Want to try it? You don't have to smash your dishes. Start with this. Write down a moment in your life you consider a crack, a failure, a loss, a rejection. Then write what quality that experience gave you. Resilience, empathy, insight, strength. Now draw a line through the original sentence in gold pen. That's your personal kintsugi. Visual, emotional, intentional. In Japan, broken things aren't garbage. They're venerated. Because beauty isn't in what stays flawless. It's in what gets rebuilt with love. So next time you feel cracked, remember, You don't need to hide the gold. That's where the light gets in. 3. Of Foro. The sacred bath that rewires your nervous system. Let's be clear, when Japanese people take a bath, it's not just getting clean, it's a ceremony, a sacred avuro. You enter the tub after you've already washed, because the point isn't hygiene, it's ritual immersion. But here's what blew my mind. Studies have now confirmed what Japanese grandmothers have always known, that soaking in a Japanese-style bath rewires your physiology. In a 2023 study from Osaka University's Department of Autonomic Neuroscience, daily immersion in a deep bath, around 40 degrees C/104 degree F, reduced cortisol levels by 33%, improved sleep latency by 35%, and even enhanced insulin sensitivity. That means less stress, better sleep, and improved metabolic health, just from sitting in water. And it's not just the temperature. It's the depth, the silence, the posture. In traditional afuro tubs, you sit upright, spine aligned, hips open, belly relaxed. This position stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system, especially the vagus nerve that runs through your gut. The result? Your breathing slows, your heart rate calms, your immune system wakes up. In Shinto tradition, the bath is also symbolic. It's called misogi, a purification ritual for the soul, as much as the skin. That's why people in Japan often light candles, add seasonal herbs or citrus fruits, or even bow before entering. Want to create your own afuro experience at home? Try this. Shower first, then fill a deep tub, hot but not scalding. Add a few drops of yuzu or hinoki oil. Light a single candle. Sit silently. No phone, no music, just water, just breath. Let your spine relax. Stay for at least 15 minutes. When you step out, dry off slowly, like you're returning to the world, not escaping it. In Japan, a bath isn't the end of the day. It's a rebirth. And once you try it this way, you'll never call it just a bath again. 2. Kaiseki eating. Turning every meal into a ceremony of mindfulness. Imagine a meal where every single bite is a meditation, where the plates change with the season, where the colors, textures, temperatures, and directions of food placement all follow a rhythm so ancient it borders on spiritual. That's kaiseki, the pinnacle of Japanese dining. But here's the thing, it's not about luxury, it's about presence. Kaiseki teaches that food is more than nourishment. It's a mirror of nature's cycles, a conversation with the moment. And practicing kaiseki principles at home is one of Japan's most powerful and least understood forms of self-care. In 2021, the Japanese Institute for Holistic Nutrition did a fascinating experiment. 2 groups ate identical meals, but one was served in kaiseki style, small, seasonal dishes, eaten slowly with pauses. The other was buffet style. After 2 weeks, the kaiseki group had lower inflammation markers, better sleep scores, and significantly higher reported levels of daily gratitude and satisfaction. Why? Because slowness digests differently. Kaiseki encourages you to tune in, to notice that the daikon is cut in a seasonal shape, that the soup's surface reflects the light, that even the miso was stirred with care. This isn't gourmet snobbery. It's biological immersion. Want to do this at home? You don't need a 10-course spread. Just pick 3 small dishes. Use real plates. Arrange them with attention. 1 warm, 1 cool, 1 textured. Sit, breathe, look, thank. Then begin. Bite slowly. Put your utensil down. Swallow fully before continuing. This, my friend, is how you eat with your entire body, not just your mouth. Kaiseki reminds us, every meal is a moment. Every moment is a chance to return to ourselves. And in Japan, eating isn't about fullness. It's about connection. One, ma, the sacred space between things. And here we are, number 1, the deepest, quietest, most overlooked Japanese self-care habit that might just change your entire approach to life. It's called ma. It means space, but not the kind you measure in meters or inches. Mao is the pause between notes in a song, the silence between thoughts, the stillness between movements. It's the sacred in-betweenness that gives everything else meaning. In traditional Japanese arts, ikebana, calligraphy, no theater, Mao is everything. The breath before the brush hits the paper, the stillness before the actor moves. And in self-care, ma becomes the moment you don't fill, the space you allow to simply be. A 2020 psychological study from the University of Tokyo found that individuals who consciously practiced ma by creating intentional pauses in conversation, work, or movement had significantly lower anxiety, higher emotional clarity, and even improved short-term memory. Why? Because your brain processes stress in the spaces between actions. No may equal sign. No reset. In Japan, even architecture is built around mei. Empty corners, wide hallways, gaps between stepping stones. Because those gaps invite stillness, reflection, breath. Want to live with mei? Either live with mei, Joand vite mom, want to mai, far that far bane. Either way, far bane trapade. 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 Try this. Next time you're about to switch tasks, don't sit for 30 seconds. Let the last moment fade before starting the next. When you speak, pause before you answer. When you walk, slow your step just once. Don't fill the silence. Let it bloom. In a world that worships more, ma teaches us the power of less, of empty space, of honoring what isn't said. In Japan, ma isn't laziness. It's precision peace. And once you start noticing it, you'll never want to rush again.